Something is very wrong, and it's time you knew about it. Why is a well-meaning hair restoration specialist from Paterson, New Jersey, being forced to tell you his biggest secret right here in this video? Just one reason. Because he uncovered something you've never heard of before. A solution to hair loss that you won't find on a supermarket shelf. A solution that hasn't made the first page in medical journals, and yet, this solution is so powerful that it can regrow your hair no matter your age, gender, or health status, and can give most of us who use it rich, luscious hair, no matter how advanced their hair loss was. His secret, if it gets out, can help you quit hair regrowth products and help you save thousands of dollars. So if you're here, drop everything and prepare for a revolution in hair loss. Hi, my name's Jerry Williams. If you're losing your hair, or you're even worried about losing your hair, you're 5 minutes away from possibly the biggest breakthrough of your entire life. Because you're about to realize that the hair you've lost isn't really lost at all. You just thought it was, because you didn't know the truth. And the truth will set you free, as you'll see. If you're here, that means you're hurting. Something just isn't right with the world. When your hairline creeped back a bit, you didn't think much of it. And when clumps of hair were showing up in the brush, you ignored that too. That was just a natural part of getting older, right? But then it got worse. And you actually started to see a different person in the mirror. A person you didn't really like anymore. You began to feel like you were losing control as months and years went by. Like your good looks were being robbed from you before your very eyes. You don't stand as tall as you used to now. You can sense the eyes judging you wherever you go. You look years older now. People don't look at you the same way. And deep down you know, neither does your spouse. You keep wondering when it will stop. But it won't stop until everything is gone. Your confidence drops by the day. Your very identity is shaken. And am I really the man I used to be? Will my spouse ever see me the same way? Will I ever see me the same way? You find yourself at a crossroad. Everyone you trust is telling you should accept it. Shave your head and go on with life. But for many of you, not graced with the stunning scalp of a Mr. Clean, that's just not an option. Before you found this page, you've probably looked at countless other products, pills, potions, and creams, and noticed that they were either very expensive or time-consuming, and none had real promises of long-term results. Dark hopelessness is setting in, as you don't know if it will ever go away. And if any of this rings true for you, I just have one thing to say. It isn't your fault. It really isn't. You, along with hundreds of millions of other people, are suffering from the exact same problem, thinking the exact same thoughts, and are coming to realize the exact same thing. If you keep using the same products, hoping their effects will suddenly boost overnight, you're probably never going to get the hair you want. And if you're feeling as if you're wasting your time and wasting your money, then you landed right where you should be. I'm a hair restoration specialist. And believe me, most people who ever came to me for help use the regular treatments. It's not like they haven't heard of them. They use them every single day. And yet a lot of them are still at my door with a head as bald as a golf ball, even willing to go under the knife and get an implant if they really have no other choice. And I have to admit, so far, I've even told some of them, the most severe cases, to take that step, to go for an implant. I really thought I was doing them a favor. I thought I was telling them the truth, until one day. A day that changed me forever when I realized it just doesn't have to be that way. I realized that a problem that seemed out of our control was actually very much in our control. But to understand that, I had to take a step back and think outside the box. Outside the options we have at any supermarket or drugstore. Now, I will admit, the products on the market right now may have some results for a while. But how long do these results actually last? Here's a little secret you probably never had a clue about. Did you know that Rogaine was only tested on its subjects for 5 years, and then all testing was halted as it went to market? Try to find someone still using Rogaine successfully after those 5 years. Try to find one and you'll see. And yet, people continue to buy it, even though it isn't an actual cure. If you don't believe me, call up Rogaine's customer service right now and ask them if this product is a cure to hair loss. They will be forced to tell you that it's only temporary. Now, you tell me. Why would you keep spending $39.95 every month when you know it won't get you the results you want? And I hate to break it to you this way, but I really doubt you'll see a better product on the market anytime soon. Think about it. In the past few years, there's been so much talk of a cure for everything else from cancer to the common cold, but no cure for hair loss. Sure, hair loss isn't lethal, but per capita, it causes as much suffering as any of these diseases. Still, you don't see any news about scientists creating a hair loss product that actually works. But what if I told you that there already is a treatment to hair loss? And yet, it hasn't made it onto any of the products you've been using so far. Why? Because the products that are already on the market are making $3.4 billion in sales. Who would be interested in investing in a brand new solution when the old ones are still bringing in massive profits? I really hate to tell this to people because it's really hard to swallow. But hair loss is one big mirage, a problem that had a solution long, long ago. A problem you don't need to be suffering from because your body and nature already have everything you need to regrow your hair and keep it until the day you die. And it costs close to nothing. This solution has been ignored and in some cases conveniently avoided. Why? Because it had in it a rare exotic all-natural compound most have never heard of that begins to regrow hair with brand new follicles stronger and thicker than you ever thought possible. So why weren't these product creators on TV? Why the story on Dr. Oz should have been the biggest health headline in a decade. because this rare compound, which costs almost nothing and has zero side effects, took this 39-year-old man from this to this. It took a 63-year-old woman from this to this. And then took a 72-year-old Army vet from this to this. I ask you again, why wasn't this in the papers, the health magazines? Don't you think they'd be embracing a solution like this? I believe the numbers tell the story. $2.2 billion just in reorder sales from disposable factory-made products that already exist and are still profitable. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but all the proof you need is right in front of your eyes. But you'll never get near any of these results unless you stay tuned here until the end of this video when I blow the lid off of what happened here. What follows in the video is the part where we started looking into the hair regrowth power of this brand new exotic ingredient. And we're shocked how much money people wasted on products that most likely didn't grow a single hair on their heads. You have to wonder, the cat is coming out of the bag now. Their solutions don't pass the test of time. On the long run, most products out there are money drainers. You're promised results that you never actually get to see. Just like in the story, the emperor has no clothes. It only takes one little child to say it, and the whole king's reign comes crashing down. And I guess that child is me this time. Because I found a solution that really grows your hair back thicker and longer than you ever dreamed of. And it's 100% natural, which means you're spared of any side effects that toxic artificial ingredients may have on your skin, and even on your general health. Since this formula I'm about to share with you is 100% natural, the people using it feel healthier, they have more energy, they sleep better, they nourish better. Because when you heal your hair, you heal a lot more than that. As it turns out, there's an effective solution to hair loss. Only one problem. It doesn't come in a bottle, which puts me in a unique position. Everyone else has a pretty package to sell you. I don't have anything to sell you because this isn't about the money. I made my money already. Today, all I want to share is information. Information that is doing this. Because it isn't fair that this is kept from you. So you have to suffer another day longer. Like I said, I'm Jerry Williams. I now live in Dallas, Texas with my lovely wife, Laura, and my two kids, Blake and Christy. I was for a time one of the foremost hair care specialists in New York. Many well-known athletes and celebrities have come to my practice for the all-natural look and non-invasive treatments we provided. On the outside, I was at the top of my game, but I wasn't really all that happy inside. I knew that my practice was imperfect. It's hard to admit this, but 20% of my patients wound up with noticeable side effects after the first 10 years. Sure, most of my competitors were much worse. Some call their hair loss treatments the perfect crime for this very reason. The damage only shows up later. It was a horrible cost of doing business to leave someone disappointed with the results and with their hopes crushed. But I thought I was helping more than I was hurting, at least providing a better service than my competitors, and went on with my life. But I was really deeply wishing inside there was a way I could help these people with no harm at all. Lying in bed, I wondered if what I was doing was really right. After all, the essence of my work was to do no harm and help people with this major problem that was causing them shame. Do I really deliver on that promise? I shoved these thoughts into the back of my mind, until a window creaked open for me one day. It started when a man named Zhang Wei came into my office. Zhang was in the prime of his life, but he wasn't feeling prime about it. And he had lost everything on his head but the crown. He had the hairline of George Costanza, and he was only 28. He was extremely distraught. I asked him about how long this was going on, and he literally started crying in my office. It started when he was 19. He's been wearing a hat ever since then. He even hid his hair from his girlfriend. The light always had to be off in the bedroom. His girlfriend saw him without the hat one day. She left him a few days later. I've had people who were upset. I've never seen a patient so emotional about their balding problem. So I dug a little deeper to find out why. Turns out, he lives in Chinatown, New Jersey. He's the only one in his family who's balding, including his parents and grandparents. He's the only one among his friends who is balding. It was very lonely. We gave him a shock treatment, as we call it, a procedure that gives you fast results, but only temporarily. He accepted, and it was successful. He's extremely happy now. He recently sent me a picture of himself with his new girlfriend, who's beautiful. But the whole incident shook me. Something bothered me about it, and I figured out what it was. Why haven't I seen an Oriental person in my office before? Why was he the only one among his Oriental friends when in the United States, it's common to see young men balding as young as 18? So I started to research, and I found that hair loss is to a large extent a geographical issue. The hair loss is concentrated in these areas. If you don't believe me, go yourself to Egypt, Lebanon, or Hong Kong, and try to find someone balding. You'll struggle. Go there and you'll see it for yourself. I wondered, is that all genetics? Or is this information we could use to help find a cure, like the one I've been dreaming of? So I looked for studies that might help me figure out why some countries bald so much and others didn't. I have a school buddy who does research for a living. I thought he might be able to shed some light, and I was surprised to hear him say that it turns out he'd already done a lot of research on hair loss. But most studies are not interesting enough for the media to make it to the spotlight. However, I was very interested in them, and I asked if he could share his findings with me. And he did. Like a kid in a candy store, I looked that research up and down, and then ran a search to see if there was anything on ethnicity and geography and its effect on hair loss. Hit, go, and bingo. Bingo! There was a large study done on this exact topic. a large sample from each of the major countries involved in the analysis. The research was exhaustive. There was a tremendous study analyzing everything from their lifestyle to their genetics. They went so far as to analyze not only blood types, but the concentration of certain vitamins and minerals in the blood. Now that's what's interesting, is that according to the study, they detected the presence of a hormone known as X. But this hormone X, which most never thought to consider as it relates to hair loss, was that in higher concentrations in men from those countries that nearly never went bald. Hormone X apparently was missing like had never been noticed before. And when hormone X is present in the proper proportions, it makes balding impossible. And they used a single organic compound, which naturally raised the levels of hormone X and regrew hair like this. This compound, when taken in the right doses, is the literally hair regrowth formula. I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. I asked him what happened with the study. He said that study was abandoned soon after it started. I said, why abandon it? That's the greatest study on hair loss ever. He said, well, in the meantime, a very popular product on the market was mixed with a new substance called minoxidil. And since sales went through the roof, there was no need for another formula. I was shocked that an organic 100% natural compound could be ignored in favor of a chemical that could cause burning scalp, reddened skin, swelling of face, skin rashes, and acne, especially since this organic compound doesn't work like anything in a bottle. You don't need to take it 2 times a day or leave it on your scalp overnight. With just a few applications, it can naturally reset how hormone X counteracts the follicle killer known as DHT and brings old hair follicles back to life like they were never gone. These particular natural compounds gave an American the same kind of hair growth an Asian would have well into his 80s, and the results were off the charts. Now, even though this study was halted, I knew that it was my job to pick up where they left off. Maybe this was the reason I got into this industry in the first place. To find the formula that nature had for us the entire time that works for almost free. So I decided to move along with the study on my own, and I've developed a cocktail of ingredients that not only help create this effect in even more powerful and rapid ways, but what I wound up with, what I call a super cocktail of ingredients that supercharge all the effects seen in that study. This cocktail of hair regrowth generates far higher quality hair that lasts for far longer. And the craziest part is that until today, nobody in the world has ever heard of it, but you. My first big experiment with the super cocktail was James Catter. He was suffering from a rare condition that caused all his hair to fall out in a matter of weeks. He was 27 years old. He was depressed. He used to be a popular kid before this mess happened to him. He wanted the hair transplant. I said, not until you try this. I've given him the super cocktail according to the parameters that I discovered in my tests. He thought it sounded strange, but he obliged. After a short while, I get an email with this picture attached. I couldn't believe it either. Just using this formula, he went from that to looking like this. This changed his entire life around. He started going out. He now has a new girlfriend. He started picking up baseball again. He's a new person. They say the shoes make the man, but in truth, from my experience, it's the hair that does it. Anna Barber. Her hair looked like this. She was 39 years old, still in her prime, and she was certain that her husband was losing interest in her. She tried the cocktail, and look at her now. Her husband sent us a thank you card in the mail that said I may have saved his marriage. Mr. Bennett was recently divorced, going back on the dating scene, and was getting no interest. This is how he came into it day one. Here's him after trying the formula. Here's Brent Papel, a male model. Even a slight hairline change can cost a career when you're in that business. And here's the beauty of it. With a super cocktail, you don't need to cut out sugar. You don't need to massage your scalp 12 times a day. You don't need to exercise, breathe, go raw, or improve all of your health. You just have one thing to take. That's all. Now here's something you didn't know. These messages from people are just the tip of a very large iceberg. We have them pouring in from every part of the country and yes, every part of the world. We try to catalog all of them here, but they're literally coming in too fast to put up on the website. And how are we able to reach so many people so quickly with the solution all at the same time? The secret is in a product we called the Restore Lost Hair Study Course. It's as close as you could possibly get to having me personally walk you through the process. I built it to ensure it covered absolutely every possible point of confusion that could come up. I refused to release this course until absolutely everyone who was using it would get exactly the same results as our private clients. First of all, the Restore Lost Hair Home Study course is going to enlighten you. It's going to blow the roof off this issue, wake you up to what's really been stopping you from getting your hair back. Many people find this portion angering and shocking at first, but they're always hopeful in the end of it, because you'll begin to see how close the real solution was all along. Then it lays down a well-lit path on completely solid ground that goes directly from your current head of hair to the thick, luscious hair you've always dreamed of. Since we've run thousands through this course, we now know exactly how you like to learn this stuff, how to keep it simple and fun and completely without any doubts or questions as to what to do next. You'll feel like I'm holding your hand because that's how we created it. Every single day, you're going to have one simple task. You check that box, and you're done. And what's more, you're really going to enjoy doing it. We made sure it's a smooth and simple process. And it's a really exciting process because you're going to look in the mirror and finally see brand new roots. And if you run into a snag, I'll unsnag you. Because we have a huge team of people standing at their computers waiting for your emails. We've made sure we've got the best people on our team. They have to be able to answer 97% of your questions immediately, or they simply don't get hired. And if they don't know even the tiniest detail, you get bumped up to someone who does. All of these people have gone through the course themselves. You'll find them to be as caring as a family member because that's what we really are here, a family. They'll be here even at 2 a.m. for anything you may need at all. Don't hesitate to make use of them. That's what I hired them for. It's official. The Restore Lost Hair program is here. A product like no other for 3 main reasons. It gets to the root of the problem. The solution is all natural, and it can save you thousands of dollars worth of products that don't really help you get your hair back. I can tell you right now that it's impossible to find a hair regrowth product that has all of these benefits together. I've been working in the industry for years, and I haven't seen anything like this. We're the first to bring this to market, and by the looks of it, we'll be the only ones for quite a long time. So now it's time for you to ask yourself, 1 year from now, who do you want to be? Do you want to be this guy still trying to figure out how to make a believable comb over? Or do you want to be the guy being hit on by girls half your age? The one whose wife gets giddy to see you when you come home? Or the guy trying to find a good hat to hide behind? When I talk about these dreams, they aren't really dreams at all. This is really happening. A new era in your life is about to begin, greater than what you've ever experienced before. The Restore Lost Hair program will have every guy you know burning with envy and crowding around you like a celebrity, asking how you did it. Instead of you're cowering at home, lonely and unattractive. And you will succeed, no matter what, because reverse hair loss answers every question you might have. We know that because we built this course around what people just like you said they wanted. All you need to do is follow the protocol by the letter. If you don't follow the protocol, we can't help you there. However, if you should have a question, we have an eager and knowledgeable support staff who is standing by 24/7 to answer it. Now, there's one thing that may worry you. What will be the price for access to the Restore Lost Hair program? And I'll turn that question back at you. What would you be willing to pay to know you'd never need to worry about your hair falling out again? Really, think about that. Would you pay $500? $1,000? Personally, I would pay more. Any sane man would. This is your self-esteem we're talking about here. So, could I charge that much? Absolutely. And I'd have people lining up. But the truth is, I'm not here to make myself money. I'm retired and I'll be just fine. I'm here to make an impact. And I'm here to create another success story for my portfolio. Your success story. So even though I could easily sell it for $397, I decided to charge half of that, bringing the price down to $197. But then I decided I don't want anyone to miss out on this because of the price, and times are tough out there. So the Restore Lost Hair program is now just $97. But hold up. Since we're trying to get this formula to as many people as possible, no matter how much they afford to spend, we're allowing you to get it at even half that price, bringing you down to just $39.